Cashless promises more convenience and security, but the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side.
News Channel 9's Alyssa Sperato explores the pros and cons of an increasingly cashless society.
Check your wallets right now, and chances are almost half of you are walking around with less than $20 cash. That's according to a 2014 study by Bankrate and Consumer Reports. Tonight, we take a look at the pros and cons of cashing out and why some say they won't change their normal routine. William Phillips is all about the cash.
About $335.
He wants nothing to do with banks, credit cards, or digital payments from a smartphone.
I don't write checks. I don't even have a checking account, because the banks also charge you for every little thing.
Phillips may be extreme, but he speaks for lots of people who do not trust what they cannot hold in their hands, like digital money.
Yes, it is a concern with the privacy.
Jeff Blyskool knows all about the so-called cashless society where nobody uses currency. He's the money expert at our partner Consumer Reports.
This has been going on since the 1950s, really.
The Federal Reserve backs that up. As of 2012, only 14% of purchases were actually made using cash. So spenders like Phillips find it difficult.
Hardly anybody wants to take cash.
And that's the point. Going cashless is all about convenience.
Well, there are person-to-person payment systems like Venmo and PayPal, where I can send you money by email.
That convenience does not impress Phillips. He's more concerned about holding on to his hard-earned money.
I absolutely refuse to use them, and I will not get a checking account because the bank fees are just ridiculous.
Blyskool says yes, fees are a problem.
So every time you use your debit card, there is a fee that is attached to that, which is built into the price of everything you buy.
And as digital spending increases, that is going to get worse.
As we move towards cashlessness, or as it increases, there's an incentive for MasterCard, Visa, banks, all kinds of people in the middle there to get money, to collect fees.
Then there's the question of security. Is your money really safe? We face that question every time we use our debit or credit cards. But our expert says there is potential for improved security.
There is security advantages to mobile wallets, for example. Those transactions are more secure from hackers than a credit card or a debit card transaction.
Which is welcome news for Jeff Payton. Payton lives with a disability, doesn't drive, and doesn't use cash at all.
I can't go to the bank. I can't go to the ATM and say I need to get some cash.
So each time he types in his personal information, he wonders whether there's someone at the other end waiting to steal what's rightfully his.
Every time you use it, you can't help because it's out there. There are traces everywhere.
And Blyskool says you should not take that lightly.
You do have to give up your privacy when you start transacting things, digitally.
And those questions of privacy rattle guys like William Phillips.
Yeah, with this, I know how much I've got and nobody else does.
And Phillips says he'll take care of his own security.
I dare somebody to try to rob me. I give them the opportunity.
As we move towards a cashless society, who are the winners and losers? We'll have that and how you can protect your money when our special report continues tonight at 6. Latricia.
Alyssa, thank you. According to the FDIC, approximately 50 million adults still don't have a bank account. That accounts to roughly 7% of U.S. households.
CEO on the hot seat.
United Airlines top executive faces tough questions on Capitol Hill. What he had to say about this video and what lawmakers want to do to make sure this doesn't happen again. United Airlines in the hot seat today on Capitol Hill.
Congress grilled him and 3 other executives after the shocking incident last month where a doctor was dragged off a United flight. News Channel 9's Kim Chapman joins us now with a look at what he had to say. Kim.
United Airlines has been under fire because of this video. It shows police dragging a passenger, David Dow, off of an overbooked flight. CEO Oscar Munoz was among several airline CEOs testifying before the House Transportation Committee on U.S. airline customer service. Munoz initially blamed the passenger for what happened, calling him belligerent. He later apologized, a sentiment that he repeated today.
No customer, no individual should ever be treated the way Mr. Dow was, ever, and we understand that.
Munoz vows to change the way airlines handle similar situations in the future. That's something President Donald Trump's transportation secretary is weighing in on now.
We want everybody who flies to know what their rights are, and we are, we want to protect their rights, and we want to encourage the airlines to make this a good experience. We at the Department of Transportation have posted the Passengers' Bill of Rights and what people should do if they feel that they're mistreated by the airlines.
Secretary Chow says the administration is investigating the commercial airlines' practice of overbooking, and she expects the results soon. That Passengers' Bill of Rights is on the Transportation Department's website, transportation.gov. Calvin.
Thanks, Kim. United Airlines did reach a settlement with David Dow. His attorneys did not reveal financial terms of that agreement. Parts of the South still feeling the effects of the weekend rain.
Coming up, we're flooding, forced evacuations, and what residents are doing to stay safe. Forces people out of their homes in Missouri. Police in Poplar Bluff going door to door, strongly warning people to leave because of a dangerous levee breach of the Black River. Floodwaters already reaching homes in at least one neighborhood. Authorities have opened shelters to those displaced residents.
We thank you for letting News Channel 9 be your choice for news.
News Channel 9 at 5:30 starts next.
News Channel 9 at 5:30 starts right now.
From life in foster care to the streets, nearly a quarter of Tennessee teens in foster care end up homeless. How one Chattanooga organization is trying to help them transition to a better life. A new deadline for the collapsed interstate bridge in Atlanta when GDOT officials say the project will be complete. And for the first time since a U.S. airstrike on Syria, President Trump speaks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, what the two leaders say they want to establish in the war-torn country.
The Chambliss Center says nearly a quarter of children who age out of state care end up homeless. Good evening, I'm Latricia Thomas.
And I'm Joshua. That's why the Chattanooga nonprofit started a new venture that will provide transitional housing for teens too old to be placed in a foster home. Hannah Lawrence joins us now with where they are in that process. Hannah.
Josh and Latricia, unless children are in a foster home that's willing to keep them after they turn 18, they're no longer eligible to be in the system. For some, that's even before high school ends. Now, as long as they're continuing their education and working at least part-time, the Chambliss Center has somewhere for them to live. No one asked Denver Tucker to do this, but as soon as he showed up here, he started helping workers finish these transitional houses for other teens who have aged out of foster care. Those who know him say that's the kind of person Tucker is, a hard worker. He says he got his grit from his foster dad.
He works on diesels and I like working on them. Okay. I help him.
Tucker turned 18 in February. After 4 years of living in a home with his twin sister and 7 other kids in state care, he moved in here, just down the road from the duplexes still under construction. So did you pick this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My foster mom did.
John Boreski says Tucker is living in the first unit the Chambliss Center finished in this new venture to help young adults who have nowhere to go.
About a quarter of kids who age out of foster care end up homeless. So, and then their risk for getting into the criminal justice system, joblessness.
I'm not worried because I used to live by myself all the time.
That's why Tucker says he was in state care in the first place. Next week, though, he begins pursuing the dream inspired by his foster dad.
About to go to college.
He's going to study at Chattanooga State to become a diesel mechanic. His home, a great place to study, but he describes the quietness in another way, too.
Lonely.
Mostly, he's just grateful someone cared about his future enough to help get him here. The other 2 duplexes under construction should be done by the end of the month and ready for young adults to move into by June. Josh.
Hannah, thank you. May is National Foster Care Awareness Month.
Families who care for foster children in Georgia will get more money from the state under its new budget. Governor Nathan Neal signed the state's spending plan yesterday. The budget now includes $31 million to increase the daily rate the state pays foster parents and relatives who are caring for children. The number of Georgia children in state foster care has jumped from 7,600 in 2013. Now it's more than 13,000.
Apartments for people trying